Hi guys, welcome back. Got a new spot to show you. I am walking around the Marina right now. Yeah, so we get to check out a new spot. Let me show you the view real quick. I went one day after we did that whale watching tour. This is where we came over to grab a drink, coffee at Mano Santa. It's kind of like around the corner from here. Anyways, so let me catch you back up. Last time I talked to you guys, I was in Isla de la Piedra with Angela. I forgot to mention earlier that day that we went to this really cute cafe my friend Katie had suggested, because I've been wanting to try out different ones anyways, and she also said that one's open later, called Cafecito. Just really cute spot. So we had gone there earlier, and it's connected to this little shop. I don't know if it's part of the cafe or just one opens into the other, but anyways, just a lot of really cute stuff. So we had gone there earlier that day before going to the island. We didn't end up making it to Fish for reggae, so she didn't get to see the band, but maybe another time. And yeah, so the rest of the day was chill on Thursday, and then Friday was interesting. It had an interesting start, at least. So basically I'd made this smoothie for breakfast before going to surf, which ended up making me sick. Can't blame this one on Mexico, I'm pretty sure. It's super random, but I put this thing in it called Casa Hindie that I had bought in Peru, and I've eaten before and was totally fine. But anyways, I've had it for a while. I figured, oh, let me try to throw it in a smoothie and maybe like I won't taste the flavor as much, because I wasn't enjoying it this last time I went to Peru and got it as much as I had previously when I purchased it in Peru on another trip. Anyways, the smoothie couldn't like disguise the taste enough, and anyways, I just noticed, like, as I was getting to Brujas to surf, I don't know exactly when, but it was just making me feel kind of nauseous. So I ended up still surfing, but I was like just trying to hold back as far as like that feeling when you feel like you need to vomit. Anyways, I made it into the ocean, but not too long after that, yeah, I got sick. So pretty gross. First time that's ever happened to me, but was throwing up in the ocean while surfing still, to some extent. I have to say, I'm a bit crazy sometimes. I haven't seen that spot yet, but there's one downtown, and the reggae band also plays there on Saturdays, I found out. So anyways, that was a first. Getting sick in the ocean while surfing. Luckily, like, I mean, I didn't want anyone having to observe that either. So luckily, there's hardly anyone out there these days because there's not much waves. But it was an experience, to say the least. Yeah, I didn't want to call it quits entirely. So I was like, just trying to last as much as I could. Obviously, I didn't have a lot of energy because throwing up definitely takes it out of you, but caught some waves, and then like here and there I was throwing up. Yeah, it was just gross. But anyways, got sick again, so that's the third time. But like I said, I don't feel like I can blame that one on Mexico, because it's got to be from that. I threw it out when I got home anyways. No more trying that. But I took a nap later to try to like rest, obviously, because it wipes you out. But I was able to feel like okay enough later in the day, because Angela and I were gonna try to go eat. And anyways, I was walking along the boardwalk later around sunset, of course, and I told her, I'm like, I'm gonna have to eat anyways. So yeah, I'm still like up for grabbing a bite. So we ended up going to the centro and had dinner at Pedro y Lola, where I had been before, a while before. They always have live music, which is nice, and had this really good short rib sandwich, brisket pretty much. Anyways, it's delicious. So that was really good. that was Friday. Saturday was a busy day. We both slept in. I knew I needed that, definitely. And we barely made it to the farmer's market, but we did. She had wanted to check it out too, so we caught like the tail end of it. And then we went to the centro. We were gonna grab a bite. We stopped by first at La Bakery, which is this bakery, and it's cool because you just get to know a lot of people here. A lot of people have their own businesses, so like try to support when I find out. But this guy I met at Ricky's birthday party had told me like that was basically his shop. It's a bakery, but they sell bagels too, and I was like, ooh, I'll have to try that. So anyways, stopped in there, grabbed some bagels and cream cheese, which was really good. I had later. And then we ended up going to Casa Hindie for brunch. So that was also really good. Had this egg toast. And I found out, which I didn't realize before, but it makes sense. Anyways, there's also a group of 4 restaurants it's all part of the same group. So Totem, the place I've mentioned that's really popular and good, it's part of the same group as Casa Hindie, which is also really good. And then I found out Mano Santa, so the place I went to that's here, and one other one, La Olivia, I think, which I haven't been to. Anyway, so they're all good spots. So we had brunch there, and then afterwards, I had seen that they were doing another one of those little events at Siete Maravillas, that hotel, with like the art and music and food. So we decided to stop in there. They didn't allow dogs, and Edgel had her dog with us, so it was a brief, just kind of like checking it out. But yeah, just popped in there briefly. I found out it's the same artist, same band, but the food changes. So it's not like a super big event like I had mentioned previously, but I just saw it was going on, so something to check out. Yeah, so then she headed back after that, and I ended up kind of exploring a little bit more later in the day. I ended up biking to Olas Altas, and then just kind of walking around that area again, which is also just right next to the centro. So was exploring a bit more. I popped into this gallery, Point Gallery, that just kind of stumbled upon. Checked that out, grabbed a chai latte from there. They had a little cafe inside. Yeah, and kind of just explored a bit more again around sunset time, called sunset. So that was pretty much Saturday. And then the idea was to go to bed earlier Saturday because so the guy that sells the tepache that I met a while back on the malecón, but he also sells it at the organic farmers market. So anyways, we went to get more tepache. She got some too. And then I'll show you the view from this side. I'll have to turn around. So we were talking to him, and anyways, he was just chatting and talking about other stuff, and this Temazcal thing came up that he had told me about when I first met him. And I'd been interested in checking it out, but it was like early Sunday morning, so I never like putting on an alarm if I don't have to, so I just hadn't made it yet. And anyways, in the conversation, Edgela was also interested, so I was like, okay, like, you know, if I have someone to go with me and is motivating me to get up early and go, I'll make it happen. And I'm not going out at night, so it's not like you're up all night and drinking and then you have to wake up early the next day. So Saturday night, after like exploring the whole day, was chill. But then, of course, the one day I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get up early to go to this thing. The neighbors next to us, which I don't fully get because there's a building right next to mine that's not even finished. It's like mostly still in construction, but maybe there's some part of the bottom of it that's finished. I don't even know. All I know is sometimes there's people working on it there, I think, and a lot of you just always hear music blasting around in general. Like a lot of buildings are in construction, you hear music blasting, they're playing while working or whatever. Well, Saturday night I've never like had anything like that this whole time I've been here, but whoever was there was having a party the entire night, blasting music as loud as possible, which just sounded like, honestly, it sounded like it was the wall right next to mine, like in the other room. Super loud. It felt like I was trying to sleep while like in the middle of a club. So no matter what I tried using earplugs and everything, like nothing could block out the sound. It was so loud. And every now and then I thought like, I hear the music stop and I was like, maybe they're finally done. And then no, it'd start back up. Like, and I kept checking the time. And I remember the first time thinking that I was 3 a.m. and I was like, oh, maybe it's finally over. Nope, then they started doing karaoke. So anyways, it was a super freaking long night. I ended up not getting hardly any sleep. Not because I didn't try, but because I couldn't fall asleep. And by the time the music actually finally stopped for good, it was almost 6 a.m. It was like between 5:30 and 6. So, and I set my alarm for 7. So anyways, long tiring night, which then led into Sunday, which is another very interesting story. So Angela ended up waking up not feeling good. She was sick. So she wasn't gonna make it, but I was like, I'm already up, decided to go. I'm gonna go to this thing, which I'll explain shortly what that is. But anyways, I'm biking down this way to go to the Temazcal, which is right across from the Parque Central. So I'm biking down there, and then basically depending where you're coming from, but this time I just took the street the whole time because it's more direct versus last time I biked to the Parque Central. I did the malecón and then over to the street. Coming from the malecón, you have to pass 2 glorietas, which are basically roundabouts, which I always hate in Mexico because here it's not so bad because it's not a huge city, but like in Tijuana, other places, have driven through there, it's just like tons of cars trying to go in and out of all these exits in the roundabout, and it's always just chaotic. So anyways, I'm not a fan of them in general. Definitely not while driving. And basically this time where I was coming from, at least I only had to go through 1, not 2, coming from the malecón like before, but still it's just not the ideal place to be biking, especially when it's not even ideal to be driving through them. Anyways, I was going through the glorieta and I saw this car like coming behind me. And again, there's different exits you can get off. So I actually like kind of moved more into the center of the lane for the car to like see me, and that I was continuing to go around the circle and not getting off the exit, so that basically like I wouldn't try to be going past the exit while the car is trying to get off the exit. Anyways, car didn't see me and I got hit by this car while I was on my bike. So I didn't see it coming. I had no idea. Like I saw the car come in the street behind me, but I figured the car saw me, you know, like out of my peripheral vision. Nope. Anyways, car hit me, flew off the bike. Thank God I'm fine. I only had like a few scrapes and like later saw like a few bruises, but not bad. I think this is the worst one, which looks worse now because I was just surfing. And anyways, when they're wet it opens up scabs and all that. So I just couldn't believe that happened though. Anyways, and the lady got out after, just like, are you okay? And I'm so sorry. She's like, I didn't see you. I was looking the other way to see like who's coming from that direction, so she didn't see me and hit me. And then this other guy, I don't know if he was also in the roundabout or whatever, but obviously saw something happen and stopped, and he was telling her like, you have to be careful and all this stuff. And again, thankfully I was okay. It could have been way worse, obviously, and it's not like there weren't a lot of people. It was in the morning and people aren't going like super fast because it's not like major roads, but you know, more so than some other areas. So that happened, and I was like near where the Temazcal is, and the guy actually asked, he's like, are you going to the Temazcal? I was like, yeah. So anyways, again, probably a normal person would be like, I should go home and rest. And me, I'm like, I was already kind of running late. I'm like, I'm okay, I can still make it. So I checked the bike too, and I go to like try to get back on it, and the chain had fallen off, and I was like, forget it, I'll try to fix it later. And ended up just running the rest of the way with the bike because I was already pretty close. So that leads me to probably asking, what the hell is it? Temazcal. So again, this guy had told me about it when I first met, and I bought the tepache, but basically it's like the old ancestral or indigenous people of Mexico and other areas, I would say, you know, used to do these ceremonies. And a lot of these indigenous communities from before, because I also remember learning a lot of this being in Peru, but you know, people like religion was different. It was more like the earth and like the sky and the sun, and that's what people prayed to or gave offerings or whatever the case. You know, that's kind of like, that was the focus, nature. So anyways, he had told me about it, but basically they create this fire, and it's basically like a sweat lodge. So they make a sweat lodge out of a yurt. If you don't know what that is, it's kind of like a dome-shaped tent, basically. They had this fire going on the outside, and then once that was all good to go, they have these stones, basically like giant embers from the fire, that they, like, once everyone's sitting around in the tent, they bring some of those in the tent, and then they throw some water on it, creates all this steam. So basically you're like profusely sweating, way more, I would say, intense though than, again, it's kind of like an old school sauna, but way more. So anyways, I got to check that out, which was really interesting. They kind of like, the one guy who was leading it was kind of like doing a little, oh look at this, if you can see. I don't even know what kind of lizard that is, but pretty big. Hopefully you can see that, because I can't see what it was facing. Anyways, yeah, so we're like around the fire at first, and they're kind of, it's this whole thing, it's like with directions north, south, east, west. So you look one way and he's like saying something, but it's all has to do with, they're like thankful for the sun and the whatever, you know, all nature stuff. So there was this part they did beforehand around the fire. Then we went in the yurt, and honestly, because usually when you go to a sauna, I think they say like probably most people are in there 10 to 15 minutes max, I would say, 'cause it's really hot. And I would say the entire thing all together in and out of the tent was probably around a couple hours. So easily I would say a solid hour we were in the tent. And so they would basically, like, again, bring these hot rocks in there, throw water on it, creates a steam. They would also throw other plants and stuff, that's so it has all these herbs and scents and stuff. And then they would do like songs and chants, and again, all this ancient stuff. So it's supposed to be really good to help, like, it's like kind of like a cleanse, helping you sweat out all the toxins in your body, that sort of thing. So it was just really interesting to experience. Anyways, so that was Sunday. And then after that, I attempted to just fix my bike enough to be able to ride it back. So it would be a long walk. I was able to get the chain back on. I wasn't even sure if it was on the right thing, but oh yeah. So anyways, was able to get back on the bike. It was still making some noise, so I was like, I know something's somewhat off, but I'll just try to go slow. And then when I was crossing the street to get back to the other side, and got on the bike, and I wasn't too far along, but then at some point I realized, like, because I had the bike lock, which is a cord basically, the key in it, I had on the handle. At some point I looked and I was like, the key's not in there, which means it fell out at some point. So I had to try to backtrack to see if I would find the key, and luckily I did. It was like right in the little intersection. There's kind of like a little island between that in the street, between the two directions, and I found it there because you have to kind of go over whatever. I ended up going over this curb to get to the other side, so it probably fell off or out of the lock when it hit the curb. Anyways, thank God I found that too. And then I biked to the bike shop and ended up leaving it with him because he was going to take a look at it and everything. And that told me to come back the next day for it. So that was Sunday pretty much. I think I ended up walking along the boardwalk later too, around sunset. And then Monday I went surfing at Brujas again. I ended up, I'm trying to see if there's anything else I'm forgetting with Monday, but I ended up going to the bike shop later. The bike wasn't ready. And again, it's like, I have his number, but his WhatsApp doesn't show up. And I don't think regular texting would work, so I just walk over there. And then if he's like, oh, come back tomorrow, I'm like, okay. So it wasn't ready yet. And I told, like, I tried explaining the first day, but I don't think I maybe said it right, or he didn't understand. And then I said again, and he's like, oh, like he realized what happened, that I got hit by a car. Some of the spokes of the tire were kind of like loose, he said. But anyways, so didn't have the bike still the rest of the day. And then later on Monday, I ended up, again, just, I think the only thing the rest of the day is mostly pretty chill, but again, just kind of walked along the boardwalk. Oh, here, check out this view. You can see looking up. Looks like a ship. So, that's this complex in there that my friend and I walked through last time. And look, if you see back there, it looks like a little spaceship. It's cool. You guys can see that. So yeah, I think that was like mostly it. Monday was pretty chill. Just, yeah, did my usual sunset walk on the malecón later. I think that was it. And then side surfing. And then Tuesday, so basically Kyle was supposed to get back Saturday, and Edlo was going back to Colorado on Tuesday. But Colorado got snow, so like his flight was gonna get canceled, so he ended up having to switch it to this Friday. So I ended up going with her to the airport. She's flying back on Tuesday. So, and like their dog's with them too, because they drove from Colorado. So anyways, so new thing for me, but for the next few days until Kyle gets back, I have a car, which is why I'm here. I'm like, oh, after surfing, I can drive to the Marina, so I can show you guys. But which reminds me, I'll show you this side too now. Haven't been to that restaurant, but it looks cute. And this is, oh yeah, I told you, this is also like going that way where we met to do the whale watching tour. But anyways, so I have their car now. It's her car for the next few days. I drove it back after we took her to the airport, and I'm watching their dog Mary for the next few days too, again while she goes back, waiting for Kyle to get back here. So again, I'm like, oh, what should I gotta take advantage of having a car for a few days, you know? And I needed to buy some food anyways, so I was like, Walmart's kind of one of the bigger things here. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna go to Walmart. Since I have the car, I can buy more, you know, versus like walking before or biking. I would just bring my backpack and fit whatever I could in there. And Walmart just has a lot more options and things to choose from. So it's kind of funny because, again, it definitely makes you appreciate the little things when you don't have them. Like, no one thinks about that. In the US, everyone drives all the time everywhere and is used to having a car, but I actually really have enjoyed not having a car here. But then now having a car, I'm like, oh my God, I can go to Walmart and buy all this stuff and put it in the trunk. It's like really nice to have. So again, it makes you appreciate all the little things that you do on a normal daily basis. But when you don't have them, yeah, you look at all that differently. So had an exciting trip to Walmart, bought a bunch of stuff, and like also things, again, sometimes you'll find there that they don't have in the smaller supermarkets, so just more options. And then also there was this cafe I've passed sometimes. Speaking of, that's the car for now. I'm driving RAV4. Oh yeah, there's this cafe I've passed before just on the road that just looks cute, and I saw they have a drive-through, which also isn't common here. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna go there. So I went there after Walmart and wanted to go through the drive-through, but basically ended up entering like through another way, and I would have had to like go back out of the street to then re-enter right next to the exit. I was like, whatever, I'll just park here. There's a huge parking lot with the shops and things, and and just go order. It ended up being good anyways, because I ended up, besides getting this dirty taro latte. If you guys don't know, taro is like a root vegetable from Asia, but I'm pleasantly pleased to see it more here lately in some of the cafes because it's really good flavor, I think. And try this kind of cookie thing they had that looked really good. Anyways, it's better to try that, eat that sitting down than while driving anyways. And it's always kind of a little nerve-wracking when you're like, because I haven't even driven in over 3 months that I've been here, and again, a different country. I've driven to Mexico before, but still, it's like you gotta get used to it again because it's different. The signage isn't great. Like, I just know how it is. Like, you might not know there's a stop sign because it's not obvious, or it's like, is this a one-way street? I can't tell. It's just different. So, and then like there was this detour trying to get to Walmart, so I was trying to work around that, and then like every time I would try to loop back around, it just would reroute me to the same area that's blocked off, you know? So anyways, all those annoying little things, but finally made it to Walmart. Then I made it to this coffee shop, Lado Oeste, which is West Side Coffee Vibes. Tried that, continued on my way. Made my way back home, and then took Mary for a walk on the malecón. So we went for a nice little walk. And then I think that was mostly it for yesterday. That was yesterday. Oh yeah, and then I went back to the bike shop because it wasn't ready on Monday. So I went back Tuesday, and then it was ready. So bike's back in action, working well again. And I ended up, like, after getting the bike, just biking along the malecón, which ended up being around sunset time anyways. So yeah, that was yesterday. And again today I just surfed earlier at Brujas. So that's mostly it for now. No real set plans the next few days. I might actually be paddle boarding or something to one of the islands tomorrow. We'll see. Some of the girls in the chat were talking about that. But yeah, we'll see. You never know what's actually gonna end up happening. So yeah, that's all I got for now. Stay tuned and I'll keep you guys posted. Bye.